My next guest is coming off a dominant win over Jake Matthews, getting that third-round submission victory at UFC 259 on March 6th. It's Sean Brady back here on the program. Sean, how's it going, man?
It's good, man. Got a big win Saturday. Got ranked in the top 15. Life couldn't be much better, so I'm stoked.
Yes, sorry. I should have said that intro a bit better. Sorry. Top 15 ranked Sean Brady here on the program. Sure. How is that, man? Glancing at the rankings, seeing your name on there, you're number 14, that must feel like, all the hard work's paying off.
It's cool. Tuesday. So I know the rankings usually come out Tuesday, and I'm scrolling through Twitter, and I seen something that said that I might be getting ranked at 14, and I was like, let me dig into this a little bit. So I went on UFC's page, and they're usually like pretty slow with updating it. But I knew Islam was going to be ranked 11, and he wasn't ranked there yet. So I knew it wasn't updated. I went back like 10 minutes later when I was working out, and they had me in there. And it's cool, man. Like you said, there's a lot of years and a lot of hard work starting to finally pay off. People are starting to realize who I am. So it's pretty cool.
I talked about it off the top there. A pretty dominant victory. Like, I know you were a big, I think, decent betting favorite heading into the fight. I always look at stuff like that. But did you expect to have that type of performance? I know you wanted to get the finish, but it was pretty one-sided, I thought.
Yeah, I felt good. Besides, I threw a right kick, and he caught my kick and punched at the same time, and I ended up on my back, but I ended up on top anyway. So besides that, I felt like I controlled pretty much the whole fight. I hit him in the third round with a hard left hook that put him on his knees. So I felt like I did good everywhere. And going into that fight, my plan was I was going to kick his lead leg a lot, but 10 days out, I hurt my foot. I could barely walk on my right foot. A couple more days into training camp, I hurt my back. So, my body was great all the way up until about the last 2 weeks of training camp, and then started falling apart. So I just knew I had to get there, get to Vegas, get in the cage, and I was going to win the fight no matter how I had to do it.
That's crazy, man. Was there ever any thought of pulling out of the fight? I know you'll fight no matter what, but just you never know with certain injuries, right?
Literally a month out, I got COVID. So
did you really? Oh shoot, that's crazy.
Yep. So I got COVID a month out, and luckily it didn't affect my lungs. And luckily I have a treadmill at my house. I have a bike. I have a whole gym in my basement. And a buddy of mine recently had COVID, so he didn't mind training with me. So I had a training partner for the however many days I had a quarantine for before I had to go back to training. So I was supposed to be getting ready to peak for my training camp, and I got COVID.
Right. Okay. Well, that must make the win even sweeter, just knowing what you had to overcome going into the fight.
Yeah. Well, and luckily, like I said, my girlfriend's a nurse, my mom's a nurse, so we did all the right things. We made sure nothing was actually wrong with me. And only thing I lost my taste and my smell. But besides that, I didn't feel any effects of it.
You're cutting weight anyways, so I mean the food's not amazing anyhow, right?
I had a head cold for 2 days, and I thought I had a sinus infection. I would have never even went and got tested if I didn't lose my taste or my smell. I was eating, and I was like, I can't taste shit. So I went and got tested, and I was positive. But I did my quarantine, got tested again, I was negative. Well, and then Vegas, I get to Vegas Tuesday. Monday, I get there. Tuesday, we get our results back. I test positive in Vegas.
Oh, no.
So, but luckily, it was just because I had the antibodies still. I had all my results. We got it all cleared up. So, it was a shit show the last month of my training camp, but it all worked out. So,
no, it did. Wow, that's nuts. You had to go through all that. I'm assuming the UFC knows about all this leading up to the fight, about you getting COVID and stuff.
I got COVID. Luckily, I told them. If I didn't tell them, I would have been screwed. They would have canceled my fight because they would have never known. But luckily, they knew what was going on. I had negative results already, so everything was good. And they got it cleared up within 2 hours, which was amazing.
Second straight finish for you. Was there ever a point you thought maybe this might hit the scorecards? Were you getting a bit worried once you got into that third round? Or did you feel like it was going to happen?
There's 2 minutes left in the third round, and I was hitting him with some pretty hard ground and pound, and I could just hear him. He was wincing with every shot I was hitting with. He was tired, and I knew that if I just kept my foot on the gas, I was going to be able to get him out of there either with punches or a submission, and I got the arm triangle, and got my first third-round submission, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear, man. Anything surprise you at all about him in the fight, or was it pretty much what you expected?
Pretty much what I expected. Like I said, I had some weapons I was sharpening for 10 weeks, and then I didn't get to use them because I hurt my foot and stuff like that, but you have to adapt, it's fighting. So There's a few things I wish I could have did a little bit more, but me coming out with a finish, I have 2 finishes in a row in the UFC, couldn't win it any better.
I know it was a later finish and you were on sort of this big card, but you're a little bummed you didn't get the bonus because it was a finish, right?
Yeah, and like the way the card was trending, I was like, there's no way I'm getting this bonus. But the prelims, like the early prelims, like we kind of killed it, and the card kind of, it didn't suck, but it didn't
live up to. I'll fully admit that as watching the pay-per-view, it wasn't. I think if you ask most people on that card, the prelims I thought were better than the main card.
It didn't live up to what it was. Even me, like I was watching the fights at a bar afterwards with my family in Vegas, and I was like, I had a 6 a.m. flight. I was like, I just want to go home and go to sleep. Like I was exhausted, and and then Izzy and Jan wound up going 25 minutes. So, but the prelims killed it, and so I got both my checks. A bonus would have been nice, but it's all good.
How did you celebrate after the fight? You kind of talked about it there. You went to which bar in Vegas did you go to watch the fights?
Some bar in Planet Hollywood. It's where we went. We went there after my Christian Aguilera fight. My parents were in town. My girlfriend was in town. A couple of my teammates were in town. My manager was in town, and we went there. We watched the fights. I ate some food, relaxed, and that was it. Like I said, we had a 6 a.m. flight. Nothing. I would have took a red eye out of there afterwards.
That's how I am too. Late nights, early flights. The second I can get out of wherever I am, I'll take the earliest flight, especially in Vegas.
I've been in Vegas. I was in Vegas from that point, from Monday to Sunday. I just wanted to get home and just be done with it. I'm not like a big partier. I used to party when I was younger, but I like to get home. I like to train.
You're becoming an adult, Sean. You got to be responsible, right? I get it.
28, man. I'm getting close to 30.
God, I wish I was 28. I'm a little bit older than you.
The way I used to. So Vegas is. I'm not a huge fan of Vegas. I like fighting there, but I like getting out of there just as fast.
What about the bantamweight title fight? Everyone's talking about it. The whole knee with Jan and Sterling winning the belt. Just your thoughts on that and everything that sort of unfolded after that.
Me personally, if I got hit with that knee, I wouldn't want the responsibility to figure out what has to happen. Like I feel like there should be rules in place for what needs to occur when something like that happens. Like you're a fighter, you just got knee in the head. It shouldn't be up to you whether you continue or if it's I didn't know he was going to get the belt. Honestly, I thought it was just going to be a DQ or a no contest or something like that. Him celebrating afterwards, listen, I get it. Like your family's out there. He probably shouldn't have posted the pictures, but you just did a whole training camp. You fought a good fight. His first round was good. I thought Peter was winning up into that knee, and I thought he was, the way it looked like he was trending to go on and win the fight, but now they have to do a rematch and run it back. So, yeah, but it was clearly super illegal knee. There's not much more illegal knees than that one.
Yeah, no, totally agree there. This is normally where I ask you what you're up to the rest of the week, but you're actually going to the CFFC card tonight. We were talking about this off air, so right?
Yeah, we had 4 guys fighting tonight. 1 guy fell off, so we got 3 guys. I'm cornering the guy, and then I'm going tomorrow night to watch the fights. Aaron Jeffries fighting. I'm looking forward to watching him fight, and I just get to relax and be a fan for a couple of days. So it's cool to be on the other side of it and not be all stressed out getting ready to fight.
Have you spoken to Eddie Alvarez since the fight? I know he's got a fight coming up, but he must have been pretty proud of that performance that you put on.
He FaceTimed me the night of the fight, and my phone was actually blowing up. I couldn't even see it. So I called him Monday, and we talked for like a half hour about his fight, my fight, COVID, everything. And yeah, he was super happy for me, and I'm super excited to see him get back in there. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of the sport, let alone being a fighter. So I'm excited to watch Eddie get in there and do what he does. He's a killer, and the guy he's fighting is pretty tough. So it's going to be a good fight, but I think Eddie's going to smoke him.
And then I know your other good friend Paul Felder. Have you spoken to him since the fight?
Yeah, he's he was almost more excited about the fight than I was. You know, he was like, man, everyone from the UFC is calling me, and everyone's just so excited for you. And he was just like, I'm so happy that everyone's realizing how good you are, and you're starting to get recognized. And so haven't had any negative anything from anybody. Everyone's
How
been,
could they? It was such a good, it was a dominant, and I, it's funny Paul said that because I was going to say the same thing, that I think this was the one fight that I think really sort of woke people up, as to whether or not you're legit or not, because you went out there and you dominated the fight, and now you're in the top 15, which is something I think a lot of us knew ahead of time. Even back to when we did our interview with the Colton Smith fight, I knew back then that, obviously something good was going to happen here.
Yeah, we've been doing interviews for a long time, and it's all starting to pay off, and I've been fighting tough guys for a long time, so I knew, Jake's been in the UFC for a long time. I think he was in the UFC since he was 19 years old, so he's had so much experience. But I've been fighting tough guys my entire career. They might not have been in the UFC, but I've been getting after it with the best of the best. So now I'm in the top 15, and I'm going to get a top 15 opponent, and I'm going to get to show again why I think I'm going to be a UFC champion in a few years.
Injury-wise, how are you now? Because you mentioned the foot, the back, and all that. Do you kind of? Yeah,
I'm hurt, not injured. We're all hurt, so I'll take this week, let my body heal up. I went back to training on Monday, just doing some striking drills, staying loose. I ran today, I worked out, so I'm still doing everything I can do. Hopefully, I'll get the fight in June, 3 months from now. I'll take this month, let my body recover a little bit, and then I'll have a 2-month training camp, and I'll be back in there in June.
I know the division could look a little bit different, but who are you eyeing as far as your next opponent? Because you're a top 15 guy now. You're going to be fighting guys in that, I would think, within the top 15. Who do you think realistically would be a good opponent?
There's Damian Maia, doesn't have a fight. Michael Chiesa doesn't have a fight. And realistically, closer to my ranking, the Leech. I think he'd be a good fight. He fought Jake. Jake beat him pretty decisively.
That's right. I forgot about that. Okay, interesting. Yeah.
I think I'll do the same thing. Obviously he just knocked out Ponzinibbio, so he's a bad dude. But I think I match up well against him, and I'll take that fight all day long.
Now, someone else that's kind of hovering around there, and I don't know if he'd want to take this fight because he's kind of been fighting sort of up and comers, but Robbie Lawler, man. I mean, I'm sure you're looking at the rankings. You're like, hey, that would be kind of a cool fight.
I love the fight. I feel like guys in my position always get their legend fight. I haven't had my legend fight yet. I fought Court McGee. He's a legend, but Robbie's a legend. So if they send me Robbie's name, I'm taking. If they send me anyone in the top 15, I'm signing. I'm going to close my eyes and sign, and we're going to fight.
Sean, congrats on the win, man. Outstanding performance. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media. You were talking off air. You got the new merch coming out too, and anything like that, and any sponsors, whatever. The floor is yours, man.
Sean Brady MMA on Instagram and Twitter, and Fuel Hunt Instagram. They have all my gear on their page, and it's cool stuff. We got hoodies, we got rash guards, shorts, all kinds of good stuff coming. I appreciate the interview, James.